1340 WJOL. It is Get Real with Eddie, and today as my co-host, I have none other than my cohort in crime, Nancy Valley from the Rudiger Group at Baird & Warner. Nancy, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Ed. How are you?
I am doing good, and I am excited because tomorrow is my favorite day, eat like a fat kid. I mean, Thanksgiving. So you can't go wrong when there's no shopping needed for a holiday, and all you get to do is eat all day long.
Oh, and don't forget the football. Football's
Yeah,
primary.
You know, unfortunately, I don't get me wrong. I love the football, but because of real estate and I'm always showing on Sundays, I don't really get to follow football as much as I'd like to anymore.
Well, true, but it's kind of nice to be able to just sit and relax and have a family event, which is yelling at the TV.
This is true. This is true. And I that's one of the biggest things I love about holidays is, you know, because I'm always working crazy hours and crazy weekends, these are those days I cherish personally because I do get to spend them with the family. I get to see my mom and my sisters. And most importantly, I get to spend time with my wife and my son, even though we just got to spend tons of quality time because we had a family wedding we were out of town for, as you know. And we were in St. Augustine, Florida. And since we were already in Florida, of course, we decided to take the little guy to go see Mickey Mouse. So that was tons of fun. And we obviously made a big impression because my son keeps running around the house, go Dee's house, go Dee's house. And he has a little toy Southwest airplane that a client of mine that worked for Southwest gave us. And he's going Eddie and plane. He's flying the plane around the living room. So
it didn't make any impression at all, is what you're trying to tell me?
Exactly. No impressions at all. He's already asking when we're going back.
That's awesome.
So I'm super excited. So moving and let's talk some real estate here. Buyer demand growing in every region. So we've got some information from Showing Time, it seems.
Yeah, according to the latest Showing Time showing index, home showing activity was up again nationwide with a 4.6% rise in traffic as our traditionally slow fall season began, with a marked boost in buyer interest.
You know, and this is interesting. So we've got some data locally because one of our sources is saying that the Midwest is down. So the same report that's talking about this, the Showing Time reports the West region, which until August experienced 18 consecutive months of flagging home buyer traffic. Lead for the four regions in year-over-year improvements with 8.9% increase in buyer activity. The South Midwest, and that's us, is a more modest 0.8% year-over-year growth, rounded out the nation's promise. So everybody's seeing it, but the Midwest is seeing the lowest traffic rate. And I've seen reports on Illinois, and I've been looking into it. How's the traffic rate? So we pulled some showing traffic, and it's an interesting thought that while the Midwest and the region is maybe lower in showing traffic, we're not seeing it necessarily in Joliet. We're still doing what the nation's doing in most of our areas. So Joliet is up 4.6% and showings per listing. Plainfield is the little more modest.
Yeah, Plainfield has just gone up modestly, a 1.4%.
So, I mean, that's a more of a modest for Plainfield. We also have index Crest Hill. Where's Crest Hill at?
Crest Hill actually went down significantly to down 6.2%.
See, and I love Crest Hill. I used to live in Crest Hill. I am still a Crest Hill proud Lions member. I think Crest Hill is that community that's always forgotten about.
I think it is Will County's best kept secret. Seriously. And I'm a Crest Hill resident, so
yeah, it really is. I mean, I think when people go, well, where are you looking to live? When I talk to people, they're like, oh, we're looking Plainfield, Joliet, Romeoville, Bolingbrook, and they point everything around Crest Hill but never say Crest Hill. I have to, with most of my clients, go, well, what about Crest Hill? Oh, yeah, Crest Hill too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every
and
single time.
nobody thinks about it, but it's a great community and there's great buys in that community.
Low
So,
property taxes.
Yes.
The school districts, it's Lockport High School, so you've got a decent school district. Most people are very happy with everything going on in Crest Hill. So, yeah, I think Crest Hill is kind of, that's just, the little bit of a promotion, and they need a little bit of an unch to kind of get some traffic. And so if you're looking and you can't find a property, really stick your nose and take a look at Crest Hill to see if anything works for what your needs are. Because I think that's like you said, the hidden gem of Will County.
Definitely.
Another one, Minooka. So Minooka's up huge in showings, 12.8% in month over month. So they're getting an increase in showings. Now I don't know where the showings are comparative nation. We're talking about the increases in showings, but these are, they're averaging 5 showings a month or 6 showings a month. Minooka is up. So going back, all right, so Joliet's averaging 6.8 showings a month. Plainfield's only up 1.4, but Plainfield's averaging a 7 for showings. So, I mean, they're showing more property in Plainfield, but their increase isn't that dramatic because they've already been up there.
Right.
Crest Hill is down, but they're down from 6.5 to 6.1, so they're still in there, where Minooka is up 12%, but they're only showing 5.3 average on showings. And the same with, Shorewood. Shorewood's only averaging a 13%, their 13% increase, but they're averaging 5.2 showings per month. And I think this all goes into inventory once again.
Yeah.
So,
I think it has a lot to do with inventory and price point, how things fluctuate as far as inventory amount, and how some of the entry level price point, you've got less going on. So I think it affects the supply, which affects your showings.
and that's one of the things when we're looking at supply, I think where Joliet does have a lower median price, and Joliet does have homes available under 200,000, under 150,000, where some of these other communities not necessarily have those options for affordability. So when you're looking at month supply in Joliet is down to 2.3 months. Looking at Shorewood's month supply, now they're actually completely neutral. There's no change in month supply. Shorewood has 4 months in inventory. Looking at Plainfield is up in inventory, 12.1%. That sounds like a huge increase, but it's only a 3.7 months supply. Crest Hill, huge jump percentage-wise. They're up 54.5% in inventory. Well, that's because they went from 2.2 months to 3.4. That's still very low inventory, even though it's a huge increase. And then last but not least, going back to Minooka, they're up 18.9% in inventory, which sounds like a huge increase, but it's only 4.4 months still from 3.7. So the month supply has not really increased enough, and we're still kind of under that national average. I'm seeing around the national average of 3 to 4 months. And those are all sellers market inventory levels. That should say that, hey, we're in a seller's market.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it. I mean, I've been seeing some competitive when we put an offer in, we've been in multiple offer situations. How about you?
Yes, definitely. Several. And I'm working with a lot of buyers right now, and they are having a difficult time finding what they'd like to buy. And
I have some buyers that are just like, well, we're just going to wait to the spring market, because they are in a position where they don't understand where's the inventory. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking of selling your house, honestly, I think you got a better chance of getting a better price right now than you do in the spring market. If you're a seller, you should be listing your house. There's no doubt about it. There is a lack of inventory in the market, and that lack of inventory is there, and it gives you the opportunity right now to capture on and getting top dollar, especially going into an election year, because you never know what's going to happen in an election year. And I think you really could capitalize.
Absolutely. This is the time.
Yeah, it's definitely a time to get the house listed. And, what house doesn't show wonderful when the Christmas decorations are up? I
Yeah,
mean, you put
it's the beauty of it all, and it carries along with the whole magic of Christmas and everybody in a good mood and feeling great. It's a great time to put your home up.
all right, awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a good time to put your home up. And the houses show so amazingly when they're decorated for the holidays.
They look
And
good. They smell good.
I mean, and I know everybody says, well, I don't want to move in the middle of winter. Well, but if you're going to get an extra $3,000 to $5,000 for the house, doesn't that dictate maybe just having a mover move you instead of you moving yourself?
Yeah, that's always an option. Or pushing out your close date a little bit, if another 30 days or something, if you're really concerned about that. It's a great avenue to take, so you're not moving in the middle of a polar vortex.
You've done that actually with past clients. You
I
had
have.
clients that were putting a deal together and they kicked it out to like what, a March closing date, right?
Yes, a March close. And I've had listings that I've had to shovel snow for snowstorms, and the buyers were out there, and the listing was sold in very little time, less than a week. So people are out there. Just because it's winter doesn't mean people aren't out buying.
And historically, I haven't looked at new data, but historically, the difference between the winter market and the spring market is an increase in 5% of closed homes. So the slowest quarter versus the busiest quarter, there's only an extra 5% in closings. Everybody has this idea of there's this huge amount, and it's not. There's a lot more traffic, but they're tire kickers. Yeah, that's what I always call them. They're tire kickers. They're the ones that are like, yeah, well, maybe we'll sell, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll buy a house, maybe we won't. They're just testing the market. You get a lot more of that in that spring market. And honestly, if you're looking to sell, the data, I think, really points to putting your market on the house as soon as possible, because with the lack of inventory, you definitely are in the right position to do. So we're going to take a break. Coming back after the break, we have numbers on Plainfield for you. And we got 7 reasons to list your house this season. We're going to keep this conversation going about why you should sell in this winter market. Welcome back to 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. It's Get Real with Eddie, and I have Nancy Valley with us. Both of us are on the same real estate team from the Rudiger Group at Baird & Warner. And we got numbers on Plainfield.
Yes, we do.
And go ahead. You want to go ahead and read the numbers what we got for the new listings and closed sales?
Sure. For new listings, we're up 5.2% for all properties in Plainfield. And inventory, we're up 10.6% of all properties. But we are down 4.3% in closed sales.
And I think that closed sales reflects, once again, what we were talking about before the break, and that is the lack of inventory. I mean, if you're looking to sell your house, I think right now is a great time. All the data points are showing the traffic is there, the traffic is up. You're going to probably do better off right now. And as you're going to see, the prices are still climbing and still going up. So looking at prices detached, month over month, we are up 4.2% in the median sales price, down 1.3% in average sales price. And that kind of caught your eye prior to us going on air, didn't it?
Yes, it sure did.
So
interesting fact.
Very interesting. And the percentage of original list price is 95.5%, down 0.5%. Average market time is 91 days month over month. That is a 75% increase. And inventory of homes at the end of the month was up from last year 4.8%. So some interesting stats in there. We are seeing the inventory climbing, and I think it's because, you know, we got buyers, I think, stepping out of the market and taking a small break because they're not seeing enough inventory. And I think the median and the average sales price, the down 1.3%, I think that's just that anomaly because last year there may have been some higher end sales in 2018 that pushed those numbers up on the average sales price when you're talking month over month, because you don't see that in the trailing 12 months. So when we look at the trailing 12 months for detached single, the median price is up 4.4%, and the average sales price is up 3.2%. So the percentage of original list price received is down 0.4%. That's at 96.8. And average market time is only at 70 days. That's up 16.7%. So I think, as always, I always like to watch the trailing 12 months. I think it gives us a better perspective of what's going on. When you look at the attached numbers, a little bit of a different story. We've got median sales price up on month over month, 8.3%. Average sales price is up 2.2%. Now, the original list price is at 95% of list. That's down 2.7. Market time, dramatic jump to 56 days. That's a 250% increase on average market time, and 90 days of inventory from 61. That's a 47.5%. That tells me there's a new builder in Plainfield, and they're building attached houses. When you see that dramatic of a jump month over month, that's definitely telling me there's a new builder in Plainfield. So trailing 12 month on attached is a median sales price of 5.1% increase at 187,000, and the average sales price of 194,627. That's an increase of 3%. Again, percentage of list price is down 0.8%. So people are negotiating, in Plainfield. The average market time is 47 days. That's a 38.2% increase in market time, but still 47 days on market.
That's still
a seller's market.
Oh, definitely.
I think there's an impression out there because, and that's the thing, the numbers kind of contradict each other, because you're seeing the percentage of list price go down, and people are negotiating a little bit more from the original list, but you're seeing market time go up, but they're still in a really good market time area. I think it's just a matter of, people that are looking to sell have to sell, want to sell, and people that are looking to buy, they're not messing around. It's like, okay, here's the offer, take it. They may be a take it or leave it scenario. What we don't have, and I wish we could get this number. I'd love to know this if we have that data, but I doubt we can get it. How many offers have multiple offers on it?
Oh, I'd love that data.
I know. I mean, that would be huge. So 7 reasons to list your house this holiday season. So we were talking about why you should be listed prior, and here's some additional reasons on why you should be listing your house. Number one
is, there are relocation buyers out there. Companies are bringing people in, and people are leaving and coming and going the area, regardless of what time of year it is. They're getting hired. So they need places to live. And these people are the ones that are not your tire kickers like you were talking about. They need some place to live. So they're more serious about buying. They're pre-qualified. They're ready to go.
I just had a client move in from another part of the state. They lived about 2.5 hours away. They just moved into Plainfield, and it was because of a job and a new job promotion. The client that gave my son the little Southwest airplane, that was a relocation client. Obviously, they worked for Southwest. So there's always companies promoting, moving, and just tons of movement out there. So this is a great reason, and those buyers are highly vetted, highly qualified. That is an excellent buyer to have. There may be some additional paperwork if you're buying a relocation, or even if you're, especially if you're selling a relocation, you know. But these are great properties to go after. So number 2.
And again, we were just discussing about purchasers that are looking right now. They're looking for a reason. They want a house. They're not just looking around, or they have some spare time on a Sunday to look at an open house and putz around. They're looking to buy a home, which makes it much easier for a seller because they're not on the market very long. And then again, you get the multiple offers.
Absolutely. Number 3.
Again, you can restrict the showings. You have the power as a seller to say, hey, we have our family get together on Saturday. We're not doing any showings. Or we're only going to do showings after 5 o'clock. Or, you can set the tone.
You can. And I agree with that you have control. It's your house. But you also want to make the property as available as much as possible. So if you've got family coming in, obviously, hey, I got family coming in Wednesday, Thursday, this tonight going into tomorrow, maybe even Friday. That's reasonable. Try to make the property available on Saturday. Try to work on Sunday. Work with your broker to work with the buyer's broker to get them in the property. Don't miss a showing. But yes, you have family coming in, and that's not unreasonable to restrict some of the times. I have been seeing very restrictive showing times on some properties lately.
Yeah.
Where, we only show like Saturdays at 2 o'clock. That's it.
Right.
Those properties have high market times, and they're going to get a low offer.
Yeah, you have to keep your property available as much as possible to show it to the most buyers that you can. And you know what? I get it. Some people work midnight shift. They have to sleep. Some people have family coming into town with the holidays, but you still do have to show that property.
Number 4, homes show better decorated for the holidays. Did we not? We said that on the prior to the break.
Yes.
That they're just way better. Number 5, there is minimal competition as you are a seller right now. For the past few months, we've seen supply of homes decrease. We talked about that before the break. And, you've got less competition as a seller. Number 6, the desire to own a home doesn't stop during the holiday season. Absolutely not. There's buyers out there all times of the year. And there's only, like I said, historically about a 5% difference in the number of closings between the winter months and the spring months. So, and then last but not least, number 7, late fall and early winter make up sweet spots for sellers. The supply of listings increased substantially after the holidays. In many parts of the country, new construction will continue to surge, reaching new heights in 2020. So you're going to be competing against a lot more new construction, according to the data and information coming out. And sometimes it's hard if you're in a property, and there's a lot of builders in our marketplace that are building to completion. So it's not like the buyer has to wait 6 months. They can walk in and, there's one in inventory. I'll take that one. It's not like buying new construction in the 90s. A lot of these builders will build a house to completion and it's still brand new. Yeah, you don't get to pick out all your final trims and all your final things because the builders people build that out. But still. So, speaking of new properties out there for sale, we have 2937 Woodside Drive in Joliet for sale. This is a 3-bedroom condo, 2 full baths. It has basically two suites. You've got a shared suite on the upper level, and it has a full suite on the lower level, or you could use that third bedroom as kind of like a great room or an additional living space. So it's a pretty amazing property. Listed right now at $190,000. All new windows are going in shortly, along with all new carpet. I just talked to the owner. They're going to be putting all new carpet in the upper level. This is tucked right behind the Louis Joliet Mall in Plainfield. Have you seen this listing because I know this one's mine.
Right. This is your listing. I have not seen it, but I'm taking a look at it. I'm like, oh, they do have vaulted and cathedral ceilings. That's wonderful. And a first floor laundry. Love that.
Yep.
So some great features as well.
Yep. Laundry's right when you come in off the garage. So this is, again, 2937 Woodside Drive. We've got it up at GetRealWithEddie.com. You can check it out there from Baird & Warner, or give me a call directly at 815-823-5478. Again, 815-823-5478. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking about buyers are looking now for homes and are keeping going with why you should be listing this time of year. Get Real with Eddie. Welcome back. And we are looking at buyers are looking now, and are you ready to list your home? Another report that came out, and this is from the third quarter housing trends report from the National Association of Home Builders. 68% of those searching for a home think their search will get harder and are stay about the same over the next 12 months. So they think a lot of properties are going to be harder to find in the next 12 months. Buyers are actively engaging in the process of buying a home, are more likely to have spent at least 3 months searching, 58%, than a year earlier, which was 55%. So if still unable to find a home in the next few months, the next step for most long-term search is to continue looking for the right home in the same preferred location. The next step for 35% is to expand their search in an area, and 16% is to accept a smaller home or an older home. Only 15% will give up looking. So they're going to keep searching, and they're going to keep looking. People, according to this survey, they're not really taking a break. They're not taking the holidays off going into where we're at. And when you look at month supply, right now, new construction is starting to outpace supply on existing homes.
Right. So again, it's kind of like this whole theme for the entire segment here. We're talking about buyers being ready to buy, and we need some homes to sell. So listing that home is crucial. Doing it now is a big plus.
In August, the pre-existing home supply was 4 months, while new construction was at 5.5 months. Going into September, the numbers were 4.1 months for pre-existing and 5.5 months still in September for new homes. So the new home construction is huge right now, and I've got a lot of buyers looking at new construction. I have to be honest. They're leaning towards new construction, and they're leaning towards what is available in the market for them and how they can improve their place in the market, and if they can find ways to get into new construction. Now, one of the big holdbacks that does affect new construction is the property taxes, because property taxes aren't necessarily assessed. Have you ran into that?
Yes, and that's a big concern for buyers. And we do a lot of fact checking with the city prior to purchase, and it tends to make them hesitate a little bit about a new build.
From what I'm seeing, on average, we go anywhere from, in Joliet, Plainfield area, depending on where you're at, 3% to 3.5% of the purchase price is kind of like a good guesstimate. So if you're looking at that for new construction, that gives them a ballpark of where their property taxes are going to be. But it is a concern, because the other aspect is where in pre-existing, you're getting qualified to buy a house. The lender is utilizing those tax prorations as part of that pre-qualification. And a lot of these municipalities have done deals with the builder. There is no tax prorations coming because or it's very, very minute and low because the property's being still taxed, if it's taxed at all, as if it was agricultural land. So that aspect is a huge holdback from a lot of things going on, and it really does make an impact on just the whole purchase. So make sure you've talked to your lender, make sure you've talked to your broker as you're trying to buy if you're looking at new construction. So, but it's an interesting report, and I think the biggest part of that is only 15% is going to be stepping out, according to this survey. Have you had a lot of individuals looking to step up or step out?
I have not. These numbers are very reflective of my own personal experience. They're determined. They stay with it. It takes them a while, but we get them to the table. So
I've had some people look at different locations. They're expanding their area. That seems to be common.
yes.
You know, I have had some individuals, just hold that they're not going to settle. They're looking for that house. And again, this goes back, list your house now. There is a buyer probably right now, ready, willing, and able to buy your house. They're just waiting for you to put it on the market. And there may be more than one.
And it seems like there is, more than one.
And they're not stepping out. They're not waiting. They're waiting for you to put it on the market, and you saw information, and we were talking off air about how what was it? People are staying in the house longer.
Oh, yeah. The baby boomers are tending to stay in their house longer, which is creating this bit of a lack of housing. And they like to entertain. They're healthier. For all those great reasons, they're staying in the home, but we've got buyers that want to buy.
Well, and that's the thing. They're staying in their home longer, and they're not necessarily downsizing as people thought they would be, because, like you said, they are healthier. They can still do staircase if it's a 2-story home. They still want to have the family over for Thanksgiving tomorrow. This is where their focus is at, and it's making a big, big impression in the marketplace. The other aspect I think that isn't talked about as much, we didn't build houses for a while. I mean, you think about it, builders, from the Great Recession, a lot of builders tapped out. There wasn't a lot of new construction going on at all. New construction really just came back into the market and is really just now starting to produce homes in the last 12 months.
Well, and you got to factor in too that with the downslide, a lot of the tradesmen left the trades. So when builders were ready to build, there was a huge lack of tradesmen in order to build the homes. So that really took a long time to get a house built, and they're just now starting to recover that.
And that's true. We do have a labor shortage going on especially in Illinois, but even in the trades overall. And looking at Facebook the other day, or actually this morning I saw them calling for welders, that there's a shortage in welding. So they need welders, and they need electricians, and they need, carpentry, and they need the tradesmen to fill these jobs, because we honestly don't have enough people to build. And because of that, it's increasing the cost of building, because they have to pay more to keep people on the job. I've heard some stories. I haven't witnessed it myself, but, you'll have a set of tradesmen on a job, and somebody else comes over to that job site and goes, hey, I'll give you another $1 or $2 more, and they're going off to another job.
Yes.
I don't know how that works or what. I'm sure there's contracts to be involved, but it's happening on the rumors, and that increases and puts a bigger cost on, because they have to hit these deadlines. You know, so I know one of the things that some of the builders I work with, what they try to do is they always just try to keep their guys working as much as possible. So once one house finishes, and this is building up their inventory and helping them sell, these houses out of their inventory, which again, now as a buyer, I can walk into a builder and here's 5 or 6 different options already ready for move-in. So I'm going to take that one, and that's it. I'm moving in. All right, 123 Main Street. There we go. I want that one. It's already built. It's done. You don't have to wait 6 months for it to be completed, and it's a brand new house.
Right.
Again,
so you don't get maybe the exact color of tile you wanted, but you get a brand new home out of the deal.
Yep,
So.
you're getting brand new construction, and it's making, I think, a huge, huge difference. So, all right, so while I was on a vacation, so I was traveling like crazy. I was in San Francisco for the National Association for Expo and business meetings, and then I came back, worked for like 4 days, and then we flew out to St. Augustine, Florida, and went to the family wedding, and then we went to the Disney World. Apparently, the city of Joliet took up the North Point project, and it was a tied vote, and the mayor had to come in, and the mayor broke the tie. It went 5-4, and the North Point project will be moving forward in development. The mayor cited that he campaigned on bringing economic development to the city of Joliet, and this is economic development as far as he's concerned. He knows that the infrastructure is strained right now with what has been going on over there with Centerpoint, and but the capital bill that's coming out of the state is going to put $1 billion into road repairs and improvements, and he thinks that those improvements are going to be able to move the city forward and still get the economic development through. So it's pretty controversial vote, but my personal thing is I think we should look at the economic development aspect. I think it's going to help the area and the community because it is going to bring jobs. I know it's going to bring traffic and other stresses, but it is what's keeping Will County afloat. We are creating more jobs than other counties in the area.
Yes, and it's going to create more jobs. And with jobs, people need services, people need homes, so it keeps that whole economy in the area afloat. And who doesn't want that for the county? So
Exactly. And I think it's going to help. It's going to be, it was, like I said, a very controversial vote. I know people are on both sides of this. I get the infrastructure and, not in my backyard. They want it, but they don't want it next to them. It's rough, but these are the things you have to do to grow an area and grow a city. And, the electorate has the right to go back and voice their opinion when the election comes around. And they get to put their vote in at that point. So,
yep.
Moving on to Thanksgiving, what are your plans? Any big plans for the...
Big plans. I am cooking for the family. We have 17 coming, so we are fully loaded, and there's going to be turkey and all the fixings and all the kids and the grandkids. And
I was going to say, what's on the menu? Can we add 3 more maybe?
Absolutely. Come on. At this point, what's 3 more?
What's 3 more?
How about you?
We're going to probably do, we'll do the wife's family. We'll go over to Jeanette's family. And I haven't talked to my mom yet, and I don't know what's going on my mom's side yet. So sometimes that's going over to my godfather's house and stopping in there. So it's really a struggle sometimes because the two sides both like to do noons.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's tough.
So that gets a little bit hard. But I for me, as long as I can see some family and, at least see mom over the weekend, maybe not necessarily on Thanksgiving, But as long as I can spend time with my son and my wife, that's all that matters to me.
Right. It's all about family, whether it's on Thanksgiving Day or Friday or the weekend. It's about sharing and being with family. So, whatever anybody's Thanksgiving is, if there's 5 of them, 10 of them, or 1 of them, enjoy it.
Absolutely. So check out Get Real with Eddie. We're always improving the website and trying to get more content there. And stick around. Coming up, ABC News.